Episode 23 of the Metro Drive, guys, and it's a warm day here in Michigan. Everyone's griping about this weather, man. Just want to smack somebody. You know, when you work in the cold and you work in all those elements, and like you've been doing jobs in negative 20-degree weather with wind chill, bring me the triple digits. I'm all for it. So, all that to say, we're talking today about living with a purpose. And the question's been coming up, I don't know, I mean, obviously on the mats it comes up a lot, and they're like, you know, Coach, what do you do when you're just not feeling it? Coach, what do you do, like, you know, I've been taking time off, I can't train as much as I used to, how do I maximize that, get the most bang for my buck, right? And let me answer that question with an illustration or a short story. There's a gentleman, and I can't remember where I heard this, but the guy would come into his office, and each day he would come in there. He had a glass tub or some type of tub, and he calculated. Yes, let's say he lives to 75 years old, and every day he had a big bit of rocks, and every day he came in, he would drop a rock or a pebble or whatever in this container. And that was representative, so over time he would see the rocks start to fill it, and as it got more fill, his time was running out, right? And so that's going to make you live with a purpose. Like if you just had, imagine, let's just say hypothetically, I had like an Apple Watch, and it knew when I was going to die. And, you know, it's got like, you know, a countdown until my death date. I don't know how, but I know when, okay? Would you live differently? I mean, would you live like, you know, it's like everyone, when we do matches, right? Like or tournaments going like, hey, you know, you start off and you might, you know, be playing the game, grips, whatever. When you get down under a minute, boom, like games go out the window. Now it's go time. Like stuff gets frantic. Oh, now we're going to start playing a game. Well, how come you wait till a minute left? Why not as soon as it starts? Why not just hit it hard? And so the answer to those questions is, when you're feeling discouraged, when you can't train as much, make it as purposed and, going back to the last video, focused as you can. Write down something like, hey, today I want to take away 2 things from class. Today, I want to get 2 things accomplished towards my long-term 10, 20, 30, 40-year goal. Today, I want these things, because if you add those up, if you come 2 days, you know, if you get 2 things done a day times 365, that's 720, 730. 730 tasks accomplished in a year. And so everyone, it's really, really, really easy to go through the motions. You hit your boom, I'm autopilot. I'm guilty as charged, I'm not exempt. But we're here, like you're just like, you're kind of brain dead, you're thinking about, man, all right, whatever. I got family issues, I got the gym, I got work, I got what's going on, and you're thinking about something. And you're like so on autopilot that you just start heading to places like if I'm not thinking clearly, I'll just start heading to work. Or if I'm not thinking clearly, I'll make a turn that's gonna head to the gym, right? Like I just go there, like, oh man, I missed, because that's just where I go. And so it's really, really common for people come into work and come into whatever they're doing and just go through on autopilot. Oh, I got off work, man, I'm so tired. Like, it's a job that you hate. Oh, I'm so tired. Let me just veg out, Netflix and chill for 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 hours, you know, binge watching something. If that's your choice, you can't really complain about it. So that, I mean, if you fast forward that, you know, project that outcome in 20, 30 years. That's how you can be the same thing. Like, I had a brief talk with a gentleman. It was kind of, he's like, yeah, 15 years working for this place, not really much to show for it. I mean, that's sad. And he's still young, so he's got plenty of time, but live with a purpose, guys. Like, be intentional about it. I mean, I'm not opposed at all to have, like, I really like, I like weird illustrations like that, so I'll throw a pebble in something. Or imagine if we just had a big, like, hourglass with the sand on it, right? And it's just, you see the sand getting lower and lower and lower, and you're like, boom, I gotta move, I gotta do something, because clock's ticking and we only get one shot. There's nothing, you know, you don't get a second chance to live this life. So live focused, be intentional about it, make an impact, take those risks, because look, There's nothing that motivates me more than being 70, 80, what have you, and now you regret not doing that. You regret not going for it, taking that risk. That's a tough pill. That's a bitter taste. Okay, so guys, do that. Enjoy this weather. I personally, side note, I think Michiganders can appreciate the warm weather more than maybe Californians or someone who's in a warmer climate, because it's such a rarity. We're supply and demand, right? We get on average 12 weeks of warm weather, like pretty warm weather. We're not talking, rain and whatever, cold winter. 12 weeks of warm weather, and we capitalize on that. When every day is warmer weather, you're like, oh, you get a little deflated to it. So enjoy the weather, make the most of it, make that call, chase that dream, call up that person that you've been meaning to restore relationships with, go after that valuable degree that you could, is actually worth it. And as always, guys, I am Coach David with Metro Jiu-Jitsu, and I'll see you on the mats.